Ooh. Oh, there we go. Here's Ahmed. Learning how to code, learning how to code, learning how to code, learning how to code. What are we doing? Learning how to code, learning how to code. Yo, so what does not work? Yo, what's going on, Doc? Let me start again. Okay. So, if I go DH sample data. Mm-hmm. So what's wrong there? What the hell? So if mm-hmm. I just do this one file. Okay. The hell? Oh.
Hey.
Hey. Current equals true. Huh. What if Ahmed was showing me how to code, so you know how it is.
Oh, great. I get to listen to you
Yeah.
fiddle through code for the next couple weeks. This will be fun.
That's that's exactly. No, that doesn't work. No, that doesn't work. No.
Why won't it fucking validate? God damn it. Yeah.
It was pretty cool though, because what he showed me is how to basically use one line of code. You know how
Nice.
a lot of data is stored on the web as a JSON file. You heard that?
Yes.
JSON.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And just one. Imagine one line of text representing an entire spreadsheet. That's how the data looks in JSON.
That's crazy.
And so you can use this little tool to turn it into a table.
So,
So,
that's similar to CSV files, right?
exactly.
Okay.
So, for example, I went to blockchain.info/latest block.
Okay.
and it gives me data about the blocks, right? 2,000 rows.
Okay.
These are all the data, latest blocks. This is the height. This is the time, the whole 9 yards. And then I did exchange rates for the US dollar, and that gave me a bunch of them. Oh, I guess it's Zimbabwe. I don't know what AED is. What is AED?
Australian.
Do they have a currency in Australia? Emirati dirham. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know what in there. Yeah. Um, but it tells me the exchange rate.
Was it AUD or AU? It was AUD, right?
AED.
Oh,
United Arab Emirates dirham.
there we go.
So I was able to, with one line of code, well, two lines of code, one to do the work and the other to display it. Maybe 30 characters max. I can get an up-to-date reading of the exchange rate for all these currencies. And if I go to Google, it's down to the second decimal point the same.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So just a little bit at a time. But I was like, I wonder if I could use like the TikTok API to make an updated list of all the most popular songs that are popping right now across the genre.
So I was hearing a couple people talk about using APIs earlier, and it was some APIs are push, some are pull, some are push
I
pull.
don't know. I don't know that get
That
post REST API shit.
right.
And then people talk about GraphQL. I'm like, I don't know what is happening.
I
Oh,
just type things in a series and I hit enter and it does stuff or it doesn't. That's right.
login kit, video kit. Okay, so there's a display API. What does that mean? Oops.
Isn't it basically just like preset code that you can copy and paste into your structure?
Google Colab TikTok API.
Oof.
um, hmm, how to pull data on TikTok without an API. TikTok scraper. Interesting. So I can install a scraper. I can look by trends. And it generates a CSV. Fuck.
Hey, side conversation.
Mm.
So I was monkeying around with my Crow account. I'm like, yeah, well, let's move some money out. If people are saying that they're having issues. Dude, my fucking two-layer authentication won't fucking work. And I'm like, this is part of what I've been talking about with the ledger system. Like, what happens when your multi-layer authentication is keeping you from your own assets? And is there a possibility for that authentication key layer to, through whatever means, not work anymore? And when I say work, I mean your key to that does not function anymore.
We have such a tenuous hold over all of this shit. It's not even funny.
No, dude, no.
It's not
Like,
even funny.
no. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, I got small change on Crow. Let's move it off and see what happens. I had to go to the DeFi wallet to MetaMask. I'm like, fuck this. Fuck this. What's up, Dan? Jeff, how you guys doing? Dan and Jeff are here if you want to throw them a mic.
Oh,
Just saying. Yeah.
you
Or
like
they
those
can.
guys though?
No, but it's entertainment. Like, thankfully, I don't have to talk anymore. Someone else will do it. Sweet.
They don't even know how to code. As far as I
Man, can you
I
imagine?
I was I think I'm all FTX'd out. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that fucking shit. I got Do Kwon in Spaces talking direct, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't care about him. Fuck that guy.
You
Who
heard it for
fucking
a while,
cares?
and
Yeah.
it was like,
Dude, that's what I was saying before about like I went through the Voyager thing and the Saitama before that, blah, 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 and
yeah,
I'm like, okay, it's just a repeat. It's a rehash at this point.
it's
I don't
kind of
need
like
it.
watching fail videos on YouTube. It's like
Yeah,
after a while, it's like, yeah, I know they're getting hurt, but it doesn't catch my attention.
and like, how many car wrecks do you have to watch before you start feeling bad about watching car wrecks? Like, I
Well,
probably shouldn't watch this anymore.
this is kind of like a pileup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But like if you're watching a car wreck and it's wreck after wreck after wreck, and people are actually being injured, like should you be watching that? Really? Should you be watching this? Probably not. Probably not the best for you.
But Twitter is kind of like constantly hearing cars screeching.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
No wonder Twitter's so addicting. It's like hearing wheels screeching outside your house all day long.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to know like what trades Amalita Research did that were successful. That would be kind of like there's a part of me. That's hear me out. There's a part of me that's like I kind of want to go through all the high fives they had before they finally like imploded. Like were they risky, bets before, or were they just, like how much was planned? I don't know. Like does a Ponzi scheme start at the start? I don't think it does. I think it just kind of morphs into that over time, and then
it becomes it.
Yeah.
I'm on the docs.ftx.com. Some of the FTX, I said I wouldn't discuss this. Some of the blog.ftx.com is still open, right? And I looked up their December report. Where is it?
It's funny you should be saying that because I was gonna say to Dan like that last big peak. That was it. Everything after that last big peak was smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's like they did this trade, and then at one point they crossed the extreme stupid leverage, and got away with it, right? And then it just kind of snowballed, I guess.
Well, let me see if I can find it.
Well, you had like this new method of balls out, full throttle, no fucking rules trading. And it was like, no, this is the new way. It's like they just convinced themselves that hyper leveraging was good and called it something different.
It's also funny that like after someone trades $1 billion, like the billions become like, I don't know. They just become
you go
tiny. It's kind of like I don't know,
you go through like number numbness.
Well, I think you start removing decimals. So instead of 9 billion, it's like 9.2.
But it's also really casual. It's kind of like, yeah, Casey and I went out for a drink and I lost $1 billion. Anyways, it's just like what,
Yeah. So what do you want to get to eat though? You're just staring at the menu still.
Yeah,
we lost $1 billion today. So this is what I saw. Casey, I tagged you in it. FTX in December. December has been a busy month for FTX. We've rolled out an assortment of blah blah blah. Our volume in BTC and ETH derivatives during December was $50 billion. And we had a healthy 385 billion of volume in 2020. FTX also saw its highest volume day ever, clocking $7.5 billion. So the derivatives during December alone was $49.5 billion.
That's amazing.
But like, I totally question that, because isn't that when he started leveraging his own coin?
Right.
Is that just a pumped up
But
number?
I mean, if he is leveraging his own coin, that doesn't mean he's not still fractionally reserve creating money, right?
It
Yeah,
makes me
yeah.
think of that cool thing you can buy at science museums where you can put the coin in the center and there's like a mirror on every angle of it, and it makes it look like there's a penny like on the surface, but there isn't, and you have to like keep trying to pick it up and you can't. It's a total optical illusion, but they always have them with like pennies and quarters at museum stores. And now I think about that, I'm thinking, yeah, it's all jacked up, all leveraged. And that's the problem with leverage. It's kind of like I got leverage from KC, and well, he didn't call me back, so I'm going to use that leverage that he didn't call me back on top of the current leverage. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know, they like make shit up, I guess.
Well, it's like you have this like small value, and then you kind of like extrapolate it to mean more than it actually is. You're leveraging it beyond its actual value. It's nuts.
But that's everything, man. That's like, dude, she totally looked at me, and you're like, man, she sneezed into her napkin. I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
no,
perfect.
man, she's coming this way, and you're like, dude, this is the exit. No, man, you don't get it. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's like, oh my god, she's coming up to me, dude. We're standing in the doorway. No, shut up. You know what I mean?
That's a great analogy. That's spot on.
So you're talking about dates are a form of leverage?
But you know, it's so fun. I use that analogy also to talk about augmented reality. And like, you are already in augmented reality just because you're over there trying to stare at that chick on the other side of the bar and figure out, oh my god, is she talking to her friends? Wait, she's on her phone. Is she trying to text me? Dude, she doesn't even have your number. Like, what do you, you know what I mean? It's like you take all this inference in a glance. And I think the inference that you can get in a glance in crypto is probably even, or just even stock trading, right? We see with option traders and day traders and whatnot. I mean, they can get blown away in an instant, you know, just because. It's the other thing too is that, you know, it's not all FTX. I mean, like fucking Binance, like kind of dropped a bomb on them too. You know, like, oh, I noticed you're bleeding. I didn't notice that. I'm going to go ahead and kick you in the guts. You know.
Yeah, where is that knife? How do I kick it directly into your fucking nostril?
Did
And
you read Did you read the piece that Mike Lewis, the guy that wrote like Jurassic Park and all that kind of stuff? He's been in. So I saw something that he was embedded with. Is that lie or is that true?
No, I just love that sentence where we can now compare this to Jurassic.
I know. Now you can correct. Yeah, well, it's like, yeah.
I have not heard that comparison yet.
Well, anyway, somebody said that Mike Lewis has been embedded in with Sam for the last 6 months on a Forbes article / book on crypto, and of course, I'm like, oh, that's great because now you can also do the failure of it. And someone did say like, well, that just makes sense. Just like the Jurassic Park movies, they do exceedingly well, but no one understands them.
Well, does that make Casey Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, exactly.
You see, nature finds a way. I guess it would be actually leverage finds a way, right? Leverage finds a way. Yeah.
Have you looked into Serum? The thing that they really overvalued?
No.
What's that?
Serum was supposed to. Seems like a core decentralized exchange with high throughput. Because Serum was one of those things that was like crazily overvalued. You saw that? I was like, oh,
Serum. Yeah.
Serum, yeah.
Yeah, I know that they were, like you said, they were doing a trade on it, but I don't know enough things about it. Feels like a shill coin. It'd be nice if they were like, we also put $5 billion down on ICBMs for the war. Like, at least then we could flip those ICBMs, but no, But I just read something about proof of reserve.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like the new proof of you really have something of value.
Well, we don't have proof of how reserves are used as collateral, though. Where the fuck is that metric?
Yeah, that's true.
Who cares how much you have? How much in derivative exposure have you used to create?
Yeah. It occurred to me too that like the check marks thing and like everyone getting a check mark and whatnot.
Like Oprah?
Yeah. Well, it kind of fucks up Twitter Spaces a little bit because you can go into a space and you see like everybody has a checkbook. You know what I mean? It used to, I don't know. It's funny.
It's so funny because like sometimes as the host I'll be like, yay, it's it's just that guy.
I know. See, I remember before you were like, dude, man, we just landed this guy. This is awesome.
You just landed the guy.
Got a check mark in there. Now you're gonna get every Tom, Dick, and Harry at the check
just
mark.
It's just a fucking 80, you know? Was that an actual check mark? It's just an 80. What do you mean? It's just $8.
Chappelle's monologue on SNL was really good. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. Like,
what?
Just the way he just like states it for America is great. He just like lays everything down.
You see this kind of rip in the Overton window matrix of things. You notice that every platform seems to have their own opinion on certain topics.
Yeah. I loved it when he was saying, I've been to Hollywood. And there's a lot of Jews. I mean, a lot. I was just like, ow.
At least he started with the disclaimer, right? You don't want to read it at the end.
That's right, yeah. It's just funny. I don't know. It's the things you like if you're in that industry, you think about it. I mean, so think about it. And then it's like, I don't know. It's funny. It's like I forget why we have certain words like anti-Semitic. Like I got that. So Semitic was Jewish, right? So we didn't want anything anti-Semitic. How come like other racisms didn't get another word? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like
Well, the challenge is you can never fully achieve any objective, right? And so, so for example, like in Canada, they have a big movement that's called anti-Black racism, right? With the idea that you want to fight racism. So anything that's Black racism, you want to be anti.
Right.
The challenge is, how do you know when you've achieved the objective of anti? Right? Because there's always going to be germs on the table no matter what you use to clean. Right? So, like, it's almost like you're setting yourself up to never, the idea of like, if there was anti-brown racism.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like we don't get that.
I can't. Look, you think I can force brown people to shower? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it too. And that's why we got canceled from Twitter Spaces, everyone. Like, this syndicate shit is fine, but stay in your lane, motherfucker.
This title alone is some sort of
somebody's hyper realistic. I wonder where that came from.
I don't know. It's like a QR code in there or something.
I think it's somebody's private key. I wonder if I put that into well, actually, now I have to do it. I wonder if I put it into playground.a and I came up with Hold on. Playground. Create. Prompt. Oh, that's weird. ITE8 T8S 8 Tier 7 7 Kirk 7ers.
Your
Oh wow. It gave
your
me a
gibberish land.
teapot.
It's good to see the Fitz here, everybody. The Fitz over there in the corner, everyone. Yep, you go ahead and stare at him. That guy right there is some sort of day trading stock guy. So if you need somebody in economics to just, you got any tomatoes or old potatoes you want to throw at him, he's right over there.
You know, with all this emphasis on prompting, what about the trying to do gibberish?
I thought it was a
I actually do that.
tight end, wide receiver. I didn't
Hey, how you doing,
love
Fitz?
everybody.
Just putting gibberish into the AI
I
and see what comes out.
I do. So sometimes at night I will try to use Midjourney or Wombo without my glasses, and I cannot see what I'm typing. So I'll do like autocorrect AI art, where like half the time it corrects it, and I get a lot of weird things. I kind of like it. Autocorrect art, yeah.
Like if you try to text while it's raining, and you just keep hitting the button next to the other one.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I want to take like just a random text message.
Fitz, did you get hit at all in this FTX? Did you have any money in there? I know that's a real personal question, but
No, definitely. But hang on.
did you? Did you? I haven't
You know,
met
we
anybody
call it
who bought anything yet.
we
but-
call it FTX, but maybe it's just FTX. You know, I wonder.
Yeah, Casey, have you been fucked?
Not on this particular one, but I mean, like,
You want to be fucked, or you want to use a Dow reach out? Wait, what? So, Michael, you learned how to program today from Ahmed?
Yeah.
oh, wait. Before we do that, can I
Totally.
okay, so I'm uploading NFT pictures to Spatial, and then I'm embedding 3D animated objects into those pictures. You feel me?
One more time.
So I'm taking a 2D picture from an NFT into Spatial, and then I'm embedding other animated 3D objects into that picture. And it's like because I was trying to do this shit with like Photoshop and Blender, and fuck, I can't do it. But I noticed people were doing stuff like that in AR, VR situations. So I'm kind of sort of using Spatial to do that the poor man way. Does it make sense? Okay.
Wait, did you just, even though that was just mostly to continue the conversation?
Oh,
didn't really understand
was
them.
that the sympathy?
No,
That's what it felt like.
It's what I'm doing is I typed in collab 2D to 3D. I want to see where the if the last time I tried it, the Google collab failed for me.
Really?
So
Hey,
I'm
Tim.
looking it up now.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just in the middle of doing something else when you had asked me. By the way.
If you pixel-aligned implicit function for high-resolution clothed human digitization. That's very long.
So sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. I just
You're fine, man.
I'm sorry too, Dan.
Hi, Fitz.
I'm not sorry at all.
Casey.
So you have a flat image and you're going to have other things move around it and through it?
Yes, basically. Yeah. And then I can just capture video of that. I can lock the spatial down for that one piece in particular. I can token gate it. I can... Meh.
3D volumetric rendering with NERF.
Oh, see that? If you're
You wanna
using...
go
You know what I
there?
mean?
That's... Yeah. You know...
That's what I want.
Well, because lately I've been doing all this stuff. I'm thinking like this is fruitless. The stuff that's coming out makes this just look silly, clunky, dumb. Because it's like it's going to be Unreal 5 for everybody that includes stable diffusion video blending. So you can, you know what I mean? Like it's, yeah. You've seen the video stable diffusion blending real time, right? The guy that does his tennis shoes, right?
I've seen it. I mean, I take a minor offense to like how Casey can take over conversations sometimes. Like we
I'm
were
sorry, dude.
all
Please stop me.
sitting
Just speak
here,
up.
and
Just
then
speak up, and it's okay.
I
It's
have no
okay.
idea.
hey,
Lost.
Sorry.
for
Sorry.
subject to a little bit of confusion. You know what I mean?
What do you want to talk about next? The value of the separation
No, I
of
was
church and state?
No, I'm all
no,
done. I'm all
I
done.
wanted to
Just-
rattle. That's all.
Find a way to bring things through 2D images in a bag, watch a video.
Yeah,
Like,
I
oh my
wanted
god, it's like,
Fitz to
what do I have
really
to do?
have a moment, you know, with the big kids.
Thanks.
Now
Were
you
you
got
in
me
the
down the rabbit hole.
VTX thing, Dan? Were you in it?
No, I wasn't.
And anybody? Oh, good. Thank fucking God, man.
But there's a part of me that wants to say I did because I want to feel hurt. You know?
Oh, I understand. I got you there. Yeah. I feel for you. I'm seeing this is gonna be like a mass move. Like this is just the creation of the liquidity that the market needs. They're just gonna fuck all these coins.
But where's all that money going? Where are they going to put the money in?
People are gonna take their money out, and then that money could go, I don't know, back into the
Stocks. Yeah.
Yeah, serious.
Or we'll all be buying prison stocks. Like
just creates
Bundy
liquidity, more money.
Michael Bundy is the guy from what was it? The
Married with Children.
No, the guy. No, it's the other guy. The guy that did the. He predicted the
like,
2008 crisis, and whatever.
No, that was a real estate crash, right? This is going to be the crypto crash. That's my theory.
But that guy is buying stocks again. That Michael guy that runs like Zion Capital or whatever. And he's buying prison stocks. Now, why would he buy prison stocks? I don't know.
I do. He's in GEO and CFW or something like that. Yeah, whatever that is.
Casey, does STL files load into Spatial?
Client. Can you hear me?
No. Good question. I don't know.
Partially, I can hear you.
I said so ICE is their number one client, basically. That's where they get their largest contracts from. And they're also a real estate company.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's terrible.
ICE is their number one. Oh, that's so dark. Oh my god. That's the darkest thing I've ever heard. No
Let's say
wonder they
it
have an
again.
open border. They monetized the border. How did they
Dude,
monetize the border?
so somebody
Oh
was
my
telling me
god.
that basically they are so they're the competition, and at the moment now they
That's
have
so
prisons
dumb.
in some of these military bases, and they have to like basically put up another wall inside of the military base to create like these facilities to house these people, and in terrible conditions. But it's costing the government more money, I think, to do that. Well, now they can. Biden's opposed to it, so this is maybe like his plan for, uh, the election. But
The
also,
challenge with
Biden,
capitalism is it works really well.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So these guys are going to offer the competition. So he
Yeah.
said he wasn't renewing any contracts. He didn't. He wrote new contracts, which is a pretty funny way around not renewing contracts. He's writing new ones. So that was pretty clever. But I think that they'll get used even more so. It's pretty dark.
Markets are ruthless. Markets are ruthlessly effective.
So, what are you recommending, Fitz, here on the recommendation hour here? Sound financial advice given to you by strangers, some of them naked
No.
on the phone.
I am saying that I'm more interested in the 2D image that you can float through and watch videos.
Yeah.
What about prison coin?
But they're a little clunky.
Yeah, what about
So
a prison
hopefully
wallet? It's a
we got to
cold
figure out.
wallet. I
We
think
got to
it's actually
declunk
heated.
the 2D.
Is that where you put a USB key up your butt?
Right.
2D clunk.
It's a heated wallet.
That's how they smuggle Bitcoin into prisons through the USB up the ass.
Right now, we're trying to figure out how to move all my FTX,
The
my
metaverse
FTT
prisons is basically what I
into
was
a prison cold
recommending.
wallet.
I'm trying to move it directly into my
prisons in the metaverse, guys. Move past Bury, okay? Next level shit.
Technically, if you were going to store your private keys, might as well put it up your butt, right? You think?
Or at least like a microchip in your ass.
Yeah, dude, I can put my keys
Not
up your
the
butt.
most accessible. I understand, but still.
So you don't get tempted to use it, and be like, "Do I really want to buy this bag of chips? Not that much,
right. Spicy food makes you nervous. Look, I don't want to ship my key, guys. Come on.
Oh, we got a blue check mark. 2 blue check marks.
Yes. Validation.
Ooh. Check mark, boy. Hey, everybody.
We need a theme song,
to
yeah.
DJ Conversations now with a check mark on the stage. Everybody put your hands together for Zach. You.
I'm important. You're not. Deal with it.
Facts.
Technically, Dan, aren't those your taxpayers paying for that check mark?
That's right. Oh, what the fuck?
That's pretty funny. I never thought of that. It's 100% true.
So much truth.
Can you write it off?
No, actually, here we go. I used Win the War dollars, which means that it was my own hard work that paid for it, not Dan's tax dollars. So fuck you.
I Win the War dollars. That sounded a little weird at first. I used a lot of Monopoly
I created my own cryptocurrency to fund Win the War, and I gave it to investors because I told them that it would be valuable. What could go wrong?
Nice.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
That's eerily getting close to what might be happening in real life.
Well, so there was a new tweet. They had an insider. So apparently they minted all of these coins and then gave it to Alameda. Alameda would invest in companies. The company had to give it to FTX. FTX would give it back to Alameda.
Yeah, the shell company thing.
No, it sounds like money laundering for the mafia or something.
Hey, you know what I think is kind of funny is like when I was a kid, I remember people used to collect coins, and like then the NFT thing. I used to collect baseball cards, and none of it's worth really anything unless the coins are actually in some kind, like they're actually silver.
Your baseball cards are worth something.
Not the
Stamps are
80s.
worth something.
Not in the
My
40s.
stack of Playboys is worth something, man.
Yeah, you could be right, but the baseball cards that they produced there's actually a cool Netflix about it. They just over fucking produced all of them because people.
Well, I said the other day is like you can't build a company that makes widgets and then one day they'll be able to sell your widgets on the market for more than they invested in your company because market.
I'm beginning to think that not all of these.
What?
Oh, you're cutting out. Sorry, you're cutting out, Zach.
Oh, I'm driving on post.
Now you're back.
Okay, I said you can't make a company that makes widgets and then ask people to invest in your company, and when they say what are you getting back, you go, I'm going to give you a handful of widgets that you can sell on the secondary market. That's how you'll get your money back. I just feel like that doesn't work in economics class, but it definitely works in Scam Artist 101 class.
I'm beginning to think that these digital assets might not be all they're cracked up to be.
I think the thing is that the problem is we're talking about them as digital assets and not digital technologies, right?
I thought you would say digital liabilities, but yeah.
No, I mean, like, again, it's like I've said, is like we use words to make us feel certain emotions, and saying that they're digital assets instead of digital technologies, we should just be looking at the use cases for them. And like the coins aren't what's valuable, because calling them digital assets and cryptocurrencies is just so that the people on the outside go, ooh, currencies, I'm going to buy them. And they just think they're going to get rich, and then FTX happens. So, like,
I remember I had a guy pitching, a project to another guy. And the question that would often come up was, so why do you need a blockchain to do this? And the answer was, well, fucking everyone's making a lot of money. What the fuck else? Why would, you know what I mean? Like, that was kind of the answer.
Yeah. So I actually am. I at one point was thinking it would be funny to create one, even if I lost money doing it. Just it would be funny. But then if other people actually bought in and somehow it was all wiped out, I feel terrible. So I went into a crypto space. I literally asked. I was like, because I was curious. I said, how do you? I get there are certain things attached to the blockchain, but how do you select the coin that you're going to buy? And like they all had I'm a shill, get out of here, whatever. Like one guy said management, and that was the only answer that I accepted, basically. Like, okay, I get that. So if somebody was proven to do something and they followed through, and you've seen other projects that they've done, I can believe that. That's the only way that there's any like credibility to any of that shit. My opinion, not crypto advice.
You're listening to DGen Conversations, spoken in an IT E8TSBXVG7711 style, hyper-realistic equals 8 at 4Ws, sense the mind straight. E-Rich is back up on speaker, everybody. Hands together. We got a lady on the stage. Come on now, lady.
Thanks.
That was a great intro, and I got like nothing. Okay.
Sorry, I was ordering food.
No, that's all right. That's okay.
I didn't know how to respond because it sounds like you were bringing a stripper onto the stage. So
Right. Well, and I know, and I was waiting to see which girl was come, and I'm glad that E-Rich and not KC came forward.
How would you spin around on a poll on Twitter Spaces? I guess if you could hear my hand squeaking against the, right?
Yeah, first you have to just tell people what you're doing. Like, okay, now I'm grabbing the top of the pole, leaning my head back, leaning into it, gyrating, making eye contact with KC. Yeah, you want it, boy. And then moving back over to the stage, I'm looking for his 10 or a 5. I don't see a dollar. He's just moving the napkin to me. What the hell?
So, Ali, the idea is, Ali's looking at me confused. So the idea is that every time people come on stage, Dan brings them on as if they're a stripper.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I like it.
That's right. That's right, boys and girls. Here we have one for the veterans. Military service, flies out of airplanes, and he's all about management. Come on up here, Zach, in his boxing shorts, here to tell you about what's going on in the cold world of Antarctica.
Oh.
Boy, that's worth a 20 right there.
I want to come up with some trashy metal music.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody, we have a retired day trader turned pornographer, Fitz, coming up on the stage here. Fitz is also known to be a DJ. That's right, capturing the wheel there. He's going to be on stage all night. That's right. His name is Crystal. Come on up and ask for Crystal later and win a prize.
Hey, boys. No, I don't know even what any of those songs are, but you could almost like hear a song and it's just like that trashy metal, and you're like, oh man, this is totally.
I think in my head I hear "Start Me Up."
I found a bunch of stripper cartoons I drew, doodles I drew when I would go into the strip club, and one of them has a guy he goes up to the DJ booth and he says, "Hey, can you go ahead and play the 9-minute version of Stairway to Heaven for my song?" Because you know when you get the girls and you pay $20 for like the 2 dances, whatever, it's always like a 2.5-minute song. They never make it longer than that. I just think it's funny. He goes up there to request a 9-minute song for his dance. Stupid things.
What's her restaurant? What was that one? The one that they always play on Thanksgiving. It's like half-hour long.
Right, exactly.
Crypto project checklist update.
Uh-oh.
White paper website. Oh, this is how to start a project. Yo, this is one of Casey's most popular tweets, eh?
All right.
Kate, hold on. Are you telling me Casey's the reason for all of these projects?
He loves the projects, man. He said that earlier. He was like, man, I love it when we get to work on like a project or something. That's when I really get my juices going. And I was like, juices? And he's like, yeah, juices. And he was trying to show us. And like Fitz was like, dude, it was like, what are you trying to retweet it? It was intense.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Not that many check marks really engaged with it, so it's kind of like,
yeah,
it's engagement, but not engagement.
Well, kind of like since Zach left, I mean, I think this is something notable to be seen here. It just seemed like the checkpoint check mark guy had little to say, and then since he couldn't control the room, he left. Which is a very Marine.
We should have a protocol for deference whenever we speak to someone with a check mark. To like, we should
like this.
But check mark, damn, check mark.
I think he's gonna talk.
Or maybe you start with a phrase. You know what I mean? Like check mark people, like you. It's almost like you have to genuflect to them, but you just have to figure out what the audio genuflect is. Like, oh, it's so good to see you, sir.
Oh, good day.
I have arrived.
Good day. It's great to have you, sir. Check mark. Oh my gosh, Michael, break out the fine china on the stage. We've got a celebrity.
Just make sure it's worth $8, please.
Wow.
Nothing more.
Yeah, but you know what? I thought about that for a sec, but with inflation, that's like $5.25, right?
Well then, we are definitely getting some spam.
Yeah, I think the minute it was physical, you tried it. Like maybe the proof of stake Maybe it should be proof of stake, but it should be like maybe like proof of eBay. Like,
Proof of
can you
spam.
find it on eBay?
Proof of ramen, instant ramen. Actually, no, wait, that's expensive.
There you go.
It's poor, but like French poire. Proof of
Poire.
instant ramen.
Totally poire. I like that. Proof of poire. So what's going
Sounds
on?
like porridge. That sounds too
Twitter
much like porridge.
bank. You didn't have any money on FTX, did you?
Oh, hell no.
Okay. Good.
This was
But
a channel for people who didn't have money on there and haven't lost anything. If you know anybody who has lost anything, just let them know not to come to this channel.
No worries. I was quite surprised, like there's so many of them that I recently discovered. FTX being one of them. Then the other was BlockFi, and it just didn't make sense to me. Like, why? I mean, of course, I'm not in the States, so probably the exposure to it is limited outside of the States. But
Well, BlockFi loaned $80 million to 3AC.
oh my god!
And
Oh,
so when BlockFi reached out to FTX was like June 27th. So when 3AC went down and they were unable to recover on their own, they went to FTX.
It's like the AAA. It's like AAA having a scandal in the States. You know what I mean? And like you find out that wait a minute, AAA actually might be a scam. Never mind.
Owned by Quadruple A.
Is that the Big Short from fucking, the Jenga blocks?
I almost got into BlockFi. Looked at it about a
Get
year
out.
ago.
Well, it would have looked great. Who
Yeah,
would
it
have said
did.
it wouldn't look great?
Now I do have stuff in Coinbase, so I guess I should move that to a dead wallet or a cold wallet or something. But
I did.
yeah.
Prison.
I did that. I remember when this whole thing started happening, the first thing I did was, fuck. Coinbase has a nice interface. But, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not worth it. Now you're going through all these motions and you're talking to KC and it's like, so how do you do this? And now he's on Zoom with you, showing you how to use your own fucking wallet. And it's like, are you transferring it to your wallet? And it's like, I don't know. It's like, just enter this in. Why? Just enter it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I don't know if I would trust KC. That seems like a liability issue right there, man. I mean,
that's the challenge because, like, you don't know how money works, and so you give it to an accountant. The problem is the accountant really knows how money works.
yeah, but that's the same accountant voice that we know from South Park, and it's gone. Looks like go ahead and take $100 here. Looks like I'm really excited for you, and it's gone.
You know the comedian Dane Cook? His brother was his accountant. And one day he found out his brother just spent all the money. And so he doesn't even talk to his brother now.
Ouch. That's tough. I think you got to talk to family always, even if they spend all your money. The thing is not to let them have all your money. Like, you should have had some, you know what I mean? Safeguards.
You hire before the accountant.
Yeah. I tell you, man, I always need a money person. I'm always like, I have this friend gal, this friend of mine, she's an accountant, has an accounting firm, and I'm always telling her, like, I'm just going to hire you to work on my books and stuff, because I suck at them. It's hard enough to, like, sit around with people and get all innovative and, like, figure out how to build their concept, and then you got to think about the math. Go Rich. Please don't have a hand up the whole time. That
Twitter
is just
Bay,
rude.
I was not looking at the phone, and then I heard this voice, and I was like, I know that voice.
That's right, E-Rich. Looks like you're up to talk. Come on down the stage and show some skin. That's about right. No, that's a good mockery of me. I appreciate that.
I can't believe I didn't get more reactions from people. What the hell?
I know.
thought that
I'm
was
trying
really
to get
funny.
more reactions.
I was trying to. My brain was trying to figure out which way to go with it. Laugh, cry, smile. Give you that, that lizard look, like the lizard smile where your lips are just like completely sealed, but you stretch your cheeks as wide as possible.
That's what
It's
they
taking me everything
said.
I've got. It's taking me everything I've got not to say that. I'm trying to do better.
That's what a pronoun said. I don't think it always
That's
should be
clever.
she. I mean, if it always given to the she, it's like it's always, well, let me guess. Let me get the door for you. Let me guess. Let me get the package for you. You know what I mean? Like, all pronouns matter.
I did watch a reel on Instagram where there was, I guess, a man who identified as a woman, and he was she. He didn't really care. She didn't really care, for that matter, as long as they, and that's kind of how it was explained. As long as I'm comfortable with my identity, it didn't matter because there was like family who would refer to them as he, and then friends and new acquaintances who would say she. And it makes you think, like, is the focus more on the identity or the labels of these identities, right? Like, what is comfortable with
Good point.
you as an individual? Sorry.
That's why I'm a horse.
That's a good point. Kind of makes me think of like people who call you like, they always call you like a name. Like, it's not a good name. Like, they always call you motherfucker, and you always want to know, like, did they mean that in a nice way every time they say it? Like, yo, motherfucker. Like, that sounds pretty cool. Or is it like, motherfucker? Like, that's like, well, what's wrong with the book? Oh, motherfucker. Or the other day, my partner, which I haven't heard this phrase in ages, but he was like, yeah, that deal went all tits up. I was like, tits up? I mean, like, just like tits moving up? Like, first of all, how is that a bad thing? I don't know. It caught me off guard. Now I gotta look up tits up on Urban Dictionary and understand its origin.
Hold on.
Liability.
If tits up is bad, does that mean tits down is good? Is it like a
I
bias
mean,
for
that's what's
doggy?
confusing to me. Like, oh man, no, that means tits down is tits down
Tits
is good.
down is doggy. Tits up is missionary.
No, I don't think you can't go. It's not even that far. It's
And that's what you
it's
want.
it's strictly the vertical tits
What do you
vertical.
think?
Because if tits up is bad, so that's maybe like it's caught up in the
What I
bra.
found
Tits
amazing is
down,
that when
you're out and
Michael goes
free.
into a room, and I somehow it's socially acceptable as like
Yeah,
when you have a New Zealand accent, you can just call everybody a fucking cunt, and it's just
You don't even hear
flows
it.
right through the conversation. Nobody says anything.
yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, fuck off, you fucking cunt. Get fucked. But then the conversation just keeps moving. Like, yeah, that's just what he does. It's okay.
I think tits up means that you're kind of out of control. You know what I mean? Like maybe your tits just jumped up and they jumped out of the bra and now they're just bouncing around and you're flustered and it's like all, you know what I mean? To me, that's what it
Okay,
feels like.
would the equivalent work with a guy, like balls up?
It's failed. It's falling down.
So what happened to that? Oh man, it's been balls down. No way.
Balls down on that,
How'd
man.
that happen?
Yeah, that seems like a balls down, but then it makes me wonder later on at the bar if like Casey and I, dude, we closed that deal? Yeah, man, cock's up.
Exactly.
Yeah, we should change
Yeah,
it from tits
doing
up to
cocks
balls
up.
up.
And then you gotta have the weird ones in the middle, Mike.
You created that, man. Where did you go?
Dick 45 degree.
Yeah, what is the optimal angle for the genitalia?
Optimal shaft angle. It's discussed in Silicon Valley.
So it changes though, right? With every stroke.
Right. Yeah, but you got to think about girth. Oh, that was such a great sequence.
Yeah, I guess you just have to avoid contagion at all costs.
It was funny about that scene is that that's a real like scene though from nerds. Like I've been in moments with a bunch of people like for work or hacking or whatever, and a similar sort of stupid conversation will happen where you're talking about something, and then someone will go to the whiteboard and actually try to like map out the math. I've seen that happen more than twice. It's hilarious, and it wasn't have to be about sex. It's just that it's sort of that nerd coder kind of defiance of, oh no, I'll figure it out, and like go figure it out.
Yeah, the idea that you can just put a box around something and there it is. There it is on the chalkboard. We put a box around it, guys.
Well, I mean, I'm always kind of like that in a meeting when people are getting lost and they're saying too much shit, and we're kind of lost on like, what are we talking about? Is this an admin problem, a login problem? Is this a user problem, API problem? Like, I'm notorious for like, okay, let's establish a reality. Here is our customer, Joe. Does he have internet? Of course he has internet. Okay. We always have to like, you almost do like a service. You basically do like you draw like a Candyland map on the wall, and you're kind of like trying to do a service journey. What is the experience journey of the product to map it all out? Because it does, like, it sucks when people are all assuming something, and then you walk out of the room and there was like 5 different meanings for whatever the fuck you were talking about. That is just really bad. So you gotta clarify it. Especially, it depends on like how much money's on the line and like how many people are in the room, or if it's like a fucking lunch hour, I don't care.
You could spend like 6 months determining as is with a large budget.
Totally. Half the time you got to do it in your own company. I mean, I'm always getting ripped up my partner on that. I'm like, that's great. We fixed that prototype. Can we fix out how our money works? Right? Like, I don't know. Scaling a consultancy is super hard without a product, and I think that's what needs to get done. But we'll see. It's brutal out there right now, though. I talked to another friend of mine, has a computer company, and his team is like just gotten ripped through in terms of poached. He's like, oh yeah, it's poach central here, man. Lost 2 people yesterday. It's getting a little weird in Columbus, that's for sure. Job market wise.
Well, on one hand, that's a sign of the fact that he develops good people, right?
Yeah,
but
it's
funny though. We took a guy who was a lacrosse coach, and he's a good guy, and he goes to a Czech accelerator program to learn basically how to program, and he doesn't really have a proficiency for the program, but he can do project management. And so I go in and I interview him, and they had all these different questions to ask and all this stuff. And instead, I turned that sheet over on the blank side. I said, I'm going to act like a client, and I'm going to see what kind of notes you take. And so I basically made him take notes while I talked like a client. And I wanted to see what he wrote down, like how well he understood my conversation, my needs, and all these different things. He did a pretty good job, and then he's been with us for 2 years, and he just landed an insanely great job. Like, an obscene amount more money than he ever thought he would make, which is laughing to me about it. He's like, I did what you said, Dan. I put a giant number on there because I just didn't know, And I heard you talk about the story when you got your job. You didn't know. You just put a giant number. It worked. KC, please.
Sorry. Never mind. I straight up got distracted trying to finish a stupid little video.
No, I get it. You just wanted me to.
Yeah.
I'm stopped. I'm stopped. Look. I'm stopped.
Oh, no, wait.
Look,
I remember.
you know what
I remember.
you did, KC,
no, I
and
remember.
I know
I
it.
do. I'm guilty. You're right. Fucking guilty. I'm a bad man. But if you haven't looked at the Trust Wallet token, that was the play. 114% or something gain. Trust Wallet. Hey, everybody, the exchanges are going down. What are you going to do with your money? Well, I got to put it somewhere safe. Trust wallet. I shit you not. Go to CoinMarketCap and look up. Was it TWT? I think is the ticker. It's one of the only fucking digital assets that's been skyrocketing over the last couple days.
Well, shouldn't we just come out with I'm sorry NFTs? And they're just like they're like
dude, the Sam Bankman
memorial.
NFTs. Did you see the Sam Bankman NFTs? The FTX NFTs. Did you see those? Where they've got Sam Bankman in a variety of traits that are clown or laser eye related. And yeah, that fucking thing actually took off.
That's why everybody has laser eyes on their avatars.
Dude, it's brutal, man. Just like you almost have to kind of think in a debased fashion to get ahead of the curve. Does it make sense? Like, oh, a bunch of people are suffering. Let's capitalize. It's brutal. It's so brutal. And like, what a basic play.
That's America. Come on.
It's America. You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. God damn. You know what?
I'm trying to do Sam Bankman as a minion.
Nice. Dude, that Dart, that I called that the Dart protocol that I pinned up there, that www Dart.
Yes, I remember when you were doing this.
Oh my gosh. Gosh. Dude, it's been around forever. And I hear people talk about like, well, this is what I look at the community. This is what I'm like. Fuck. This one again? Really? But that Dart protocol was one of the community best efforts at scraping information from all the degens. And you know what? In its heyday, it did okay actually. It like kind of helped some people out. 9 times out of 10, it would have an NFT backing it that resulted in a rug pull. Oh. But Trust Wallet token, that would have been the play. Go figure.
I had to get something. I'm back. And yeah, I agree.
Welcome back, Dan. And coming into the center stage, welcome in Danella. Danella's traveled here all the way from the deep south. Coming in hot, real hot. Get your dollars ready. No quarters this time, fellas. Tip
Hey, everybody. It's good to see you. I'm going to swing on this here pole, go up and give you a big old kiss. What's your name there, Sonny? Fitz is on your label? What do they call you, Fitz?
I'm going to remember that. Next time I'm in a strip club, when someone's like, hey, what's your name? I'm going to go, KC. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be KC for a day. Yeah, my good friends call me KC. Yeah. I do banking stuff. Yeah. Mortgages and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Right now, I bet I could get you 5 points lower than what you pay now. I can't tell you how I do it, but if you're interested and we'll go through my 10-week process, maybe that 5 points is possible.
No points, baby. No points. Oh, yeah.
I talked to a guy about that the other day. And he said, I asked the company for a service and they tried to sell me a subscription to 1 year. And he's like, I don't want a fucking subscription for 1 year. That means it's going to take you 2 years. Just give me the thing I wanted. I don't want to sign up for anything.
It just sounds like a great monologue. And now for Michael. I want what I want. Just ramble off a bunch of stuff.
I was gonna say, you guys ever lose the ability to hear other people talking, but then you just think that you're playing the silent game, and so you think it's the silent game, and then you stubbornly wait before you switch, because that just happened. Fucking silent game.
Hey, Twitter Bay.
I didn't hear anything that anybody said while I was up here for a while.
You're fine. You don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, Casey. That's what I wanted to say.
It's good. You should be. You should be horribly apologetic. Twitter Bay. I'm looking at your bio. Creative advisor and storyteller.
Stories. Tell me about
Yes.
that. That's what Casey would say next.
How do you, if you don't mind, can you tell me a little bit?
Sure. Well, I mean, ask me.
Yeah, so,
question.
what type of medium are you using for the storytelling? Is it Web3 based? Is it Web2? What is your story? Is it audio? What's the medium?
Oh, it's sorry. Maybe I should specify in storytelling. It's more to do with my creative advising. So one of the things I realized is, irrespective of Web 2 or Web 3, I think a lot of times we tend to get really focused on the art that we try to tell fantasy stories, which are great, right? You get to really create some imagination, but we tend to forget in a digital space to connect with the human, which is essentially the user. And I started to realize that like artists are wonderful at creating art, but not as great at telling stories. Not all of them, I should say. Some of them I've met are impeccable at telling stories, and stories that make it more human, right? Because the art is supposed to be out there, it's supposed to be fantasy, it's supposed to be things that no one could have imagined, right? That's what makes it so impactful. But then you need to be able to kind of direct the viewer, the user's emotions to it, right? Otherwise, you have a disconnect. Otherwise, you have more to tell, more to explain, and less connection, right? The more you over explain as a human being, the less value you give to the words, right? Or the impact, I should say. So that's what I meant by storytelling. That I work with projects and kind of make them really connect to a story that fits with the human experience.
So that sounds like a paraphraser, right? Going in to paraphrase their scenario and situation in the shortest narrative to make the biggest impact.
More or less, yeah. I think
That's awesome.
we try to overstimulate someone's emotions or mind, right? And then tell lots of stories, lots of share as much, right? We go from the struggles as an artist or the struggles as a founder to where you see yourself, and you try to reach at every experience that has been experienced and ones that have yet to come. But it's so hard to connect if it's not you. And I think if it's not your user, right, if they're not at the center of it, the person who's really going to have the art or want to collect it, if they're not at the center of that entire story, then how would you compel them that this is for them? This is something they need to have. And I think that's where I try to get projects to or artists even, to take away the need to debate on value. And you always see this, like collectors, like it's too expensive. It's like, who are you to decide? And then an artist unsure of whether that's the true value, and almost like doubting your own self-worth as an artist is so wrong, right? Because it's unmatched. You can never put it head to head with anyone else. It's a different story. It's a different human that's created it. So, yeah.
You know, what's interesting about that is like you guys are familiar with Banksy, I assume.
Yeah.
So he sort of creates his own stories without ever fucking telling any sort of a story, which is kind of brilliant. Just by being.
And that's the level like an artist needs to reach, right? Eventually, when words don't require to be said, they're just felt, from an image. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't cut me off. That's fine. It's true, because just the way that there's just sort of that like aura about it. He created that by just being anonymous, essentially.
And that goes towards like all the movements that I've seen. Like I'm based in Poland at the moment, and in Poland, 2 or 3 years ago, they had a movement against the government ruling for banishment of abortion, and there was the symbol for it was a red lightning, or lightning bolt, I should say. And it's like whoever created it, I'm sure you could possibly like reverse image in someone and find someone who's created it, but that one thing, that one symbol, it might be so generic to the world, but to an entire population, it speaks of so much more, right? And it has no words attached to it. It has no reference to anything other than what the population has been impacted by. And that's what I love about art. It's almost like it leaves you speechless because it doesn't require speech. But an artist, like the journey to get there, is the most challenging thing. But that's the one thing when you can overcome that, all the circumstances as an artist, from starving to now fed, you then create a speechless, a piece that is essentially speechless or leaves the viewer speechless.
My favorite one was the one, and he had that piece that was at Sotheby's at auction. I don't know if you guys have seen this, and they auction off this like work of art. It was Banksy that did it, and once they the gavel goes down and it's sold, the 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 piece of art, like the frame, starts to like make this like grinding noise, and then it just shreds the entire painting. It just goes down like through a shredder and just the painting is just ruined. It's fucking brilliant.
And you know what? For me, I'm sure it resonated with people differently. For me, that's true ownership, right? The ownership meaning the one thing you own from that is the experience of viewing it, right? The emotion that carried by being able to see it, not actually physically holding it. I think I mean, blockchains kind of redefined it in a way of like, being able to really own. But then I think at the same time, we shouldn't lose that respect to art, that it's for all, right? That's why you create, because you want the world to see it. It's not you want one individual who has lots of money to see it. I mean, if they did have lots of money and they're giving it to you, great. That benefits you and that allows you to continue your life as a human, as an artist. But true ownership is what you take from it, not actually holding that piece, right? And I think that spoke to me so well. And I'm not an artist per se, but being able to understand that for myself, that's an experience I'm never going to forget. So when you said it right away, I was like, yep, it clicked right in, right? And that's the experience no one can take away from me.
It's unique. That's like one of the key things. The more unique, the better. And generally, that's very fucking unique. Oh, I can't say generally that's unique. That's a bad way to say that, but you know what I mean.
Twitter, I was also still digesting what you were saying earlier, and if I was going to try and paraphrase it again, I would call it emotional communication with Web3 content, because you're imparting through the visual, the communication. Yeah.
Yeah, it's binding. It's binding creativity of colors, of a visual element with technology, and then with the human. The only, like right now, traditionally it was the visual with the human, right? And then now we have the additional layer of technology to assist, I think, assist that communication a bit further, give it more intangible value, right? Because it requires that connection, that communication, in fact, that doesn't need to be said. It could be said in code, right? Now that's the beauty of it. Like code has become art in a way, where you can really add value to your creation with something that no one can take away from it. In fact, you can create an art that's based on timestamp where it continues to age and continues to evolve, then it goes out and goes back in again. You could, it essentially is creating timelessness with art in a way that we haven't seen in the digital space. It's no more right click and save, because you can't right click and save an experience. You can right click and save an image, but the image is not where the value is held. And I think that's the one thing human beings have to understand, that like your entire journey as a human is not the end result of everything you've been through. It's the entire journey, every experience. No one can take away the experience from you. They can possibly take away the result of you reaching there. You looked at buying a house one day. Someone can obviously take it away from you, because it's not it's not what you were going forward to into, right? Like the result is great, but it's also not yours to own. But the experience, no one can take that, right? And we've heard it from so many different speakers, from TED Talks all the way to people who've written books, people who've studied psychology, and so on. And that's something that art has, and it's been doing it for so long. It's been doing it through the ages. So it's just, I think this is something where I'm viewing all of this from the outside, um, of like the projects or individuals I've spoken to. So it gives them a new depth of like appreciation for what they're doing, and almost allows them to not so much think outside the box, but imagine that the box was not there.
I really appreciate that. Like I can appreciate that. I'm new to artistic expression. I got forced into a box of numerical expression, but I'm definitely having fun trying my hand at creating stuff that has that impact, that lasting impression. And it's fun. It's challenging, and there's a lot of failure. But it's a hell of a ride. It's a lot of fun. I pinned up. I'm using spatial to kind of use a poor man's VR situation and create visual impacts on 2D images. And I know that it's like a caveman with sticks and stones compared to the stuff that's available now, but this is all free use, um, stuff that I'm just kind of hacking together.
And here's something like I think I have to always remind myself of, and of course share, that this experience you're having right now, the sort of caveman with sticks and stones, right? No one else, I mean, many others might be on the same path, right? But they're not in the exact same moment you're in creating this, right? You've seen something different. You even use different art pieces. You've even used a different set of colors, gradients of colors. Like there's so much to art that people don't look beyond the value of it, right? And this is where this divide continues, irrespective of this space, the digital space, or in our physical reality. It's like we always look at how much is this going to make me feel in terms of worth, right? Or how is it going to be perceived? And I think we're getting art completely wrong to begin with. If you have a generative collection, even that needs to be appreciated, because that's an identity, right? It holds some form of identity. And it doesn't necessarily mean it has to define the user, like to match the hair color and so on. What it's defining is so much more, at every like curve, every line, every outline, every color, pretty much everything you can imagine, right? But of course, it's not for you as an artist to like compel someone, right? It is up to the individual to take the art and then experience it that way.
Like, I look at my hidden folder and all like the trap NFTs that have landed on me, and some of them, like, it makes me so frustrated because I know that they're hack NFTs. I know that if I engage with them, my wallet's drained. But some of the art that they're using is awesome. It makes me so mad. It's like, dude, why couldn't you just launch like an actual project just for the art that you're creating here, because some of it looks great. Very frustrating, but anyways, hey man, it's been a blast talking to you, and I really appreciate it. Sorry for dominating the mic, but it's time for me to go and hang out with the fam and do the fam thing. So I'm gonna jet. Dan, good luck DJing. Keep the dollars
All right,
rolling,
man.
son. Make sure the servers get tipped.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do. Yeah, I'll be sure to get your cut afterwards.
You know it. Keep daddy fed.
All right, you know what that means? People coming up on 8 o'clock. That's right, 2 dances for 1 FTX. That's right, 2 dances, 1 FTX.
That's awesome. Have a good one.
Pleasure, Casey. Catch you later. And apologies for hogging the mic as well, but thank
No,
you for
don't worry
letting me
about
have it.
That's good. Casey's our financial consigliere, so he does the soft due diligence on everyone, but doesn't call it that.
Yeah.
Well, it is 1:53 a.m. over here in Poland.
Oh wow!
I will. Yeah.
Hey, not
No,
last
I was
call
just
yet,
enjoying
man. Come on, you can still do it.
No, I got work. I got work in the morning. Do apologize. I will have to excuse myself. I have followed though. Appreciate it.
Good deal.
Appreciate the laughs, the conversation. I think it was nice not talking about NFTs in detail. So that was I think sometimes just appreciating a conversation for the sake of a conversation without a full on purpose, I think is something to appreciate as well. So thank you very much for the space and time.
Twitter
I
Bay,
shall
can I
see
ask?
you all later. Hey Zach,
Sorry,
what's up?
are you where in Poland, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh sure. I'm in a city called Wrocław or Wrocław, written as Wroclaw.
Oh, okay. I haven't. I spent some time in Poland when I
I
was.
recall in another space you were mentioning that.
Yeah. And I just was wondering, are you an expat living over there, or?
Yeah, I'm an expat.
Okay.
I'm originally Indian, Canadian. I live here temporarily. I actually moved here last year, so I've completed almost a year and a month, I think, now.
Where in Canada were you?
I was based just outside of Toronto, I guess for people who aren't Canadian, Toronto, but for those who are, a city called Mississauga, just outside of Toronto.
Nice. I grew up in Malvern in Scarborough.
Oh, okay. Whoa, neighbor.
Yeah. I'm in Hamilton now.
Oh, I've never been.
What brought
How's
you
the
to
weather
Poland?
like now?
It's okay. Yeah.
Well, hopefully it doesn't snow too bad this time of year, or this year at least. What brought me to Poland? A woman did, and no longer in the picture, unfortunately, but fortunately as well, because I got to essentially direct all that energy to building myself back up. And I mean, as a person, but also as a professional in this space. So that was really awesome. I think things sometimes happen because they need to happen for you to, shift yourself into, I guess, closer to the person you were sort of meant to become, right? Or deep down inside. So yeah.
So before you go, I know it's late. I'm a recruiter, and I know Casey talked to you a lot about what you love doing. What kind of opportunities are you on the lookout for right now?
Opportunities. I don't know if I'm really looking for opportunities per se. Of course, make money, but not possibly to help guide artists and founders to maybe practice a bit more. How do I put this? I'm looking more at spending
Add
time kind of.
add some
Pardon?
capitalism to their communism. No, I don't know.
I'm thinking more of changing the narrative of trying to look at their entire journey as being 1 year to become a millionaire. Change that narrative into creating a actual brand for themselves. And I don't mean to sound businessy. I do it for a living,
Hmm.
but I think
So you think
there's
there's an opportunity for artists to consider themselves as brands? What can you say more about that?
I think so when I mean brand, I mean every artist that I've met, and I work with creatives during my day with my day job. I notice that irrespective of whether you have templates, whether you have color palettes and sort of brand guidelines, what you always want to give the artist is the freedom to have their own touch. And I think for an artist, that is their brand. Not so much the name, not so much the like type of art, that it's that special touch that any piece of art that they create, whether it's for a project, whether it's for a Web2 company, whatever Web3 company, that little touch makes all the difference. And you can tell it every single time that artist has touched a piece of art
The
that it's them.
signature.
Exactly. That signature is the brand. And I think a lot of times
Interesting.
artists try to focus on the whole picture when in fact all they need is just one trait, like one tiny thing to
I
always
think you're
remain the
right
same.
because I see that with TikTok channels. The most famous TikTok channels are doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it might seem repetitive, but when you really find something you like, you kind of just want to see it 10 times.
And that's the human behavior, right? That's what I keep going back to. Like, look at the behavior of a human being and see what makes you different from someone else. Of course, you can talk about skin, hair, weight, size, blah blah blah. Like what clothes you like, but what makes you? If you take that all away, what makes you stand out in the room? Is it like that value, right? Like, what is the value behind all of you? What makes you you? And I think with art, it's a lot easier to kind of find it when you work with the artist. So I'm trying to help like people essentially create lasting. Um, I don't know if the word. It's not a word. I don't think so. Lastingness, like timelessness. That's a better word. Timelessness with what they're doing, because then no matter the market, no matter the income, right? Whether you're selling out or selling one piece every month, what you essentially do is you take away the need to constrain yourself to time. And then that allows you to have freedom to create, that allows you to take pressure, that self pressure we keep putting on ourselves to like do something, right? And oh, the market's bad, so I need to go create art somewhere else, which is fine, but you don't need to feel discouraged with it because you're a creator. Like embracing being a creator is one of the most powerful things. I unfortunately have lacked in those skills, but I've paid attention in really observing the journey. So I think for me, I'm trying to take that and sort of bring that experience. So if I could do that, I could care less about the money. I mean, I've been sort of like advising for very, very little to nothing, only because I just want to see people take care of themselves in this space.
I sent you a DM with my wife's account. You'll see some of the images that she has. Every image is like has a story accompanied with it. And so that was kind of the backdrop of kind of why I was asking. And I like the idea of the signature of the artist being the brand itself.
And because that doesn't matter who's telling the story, right? Like if you had the art, like I love the art, by the way. I'm just like scrolling through it and it's great and it's so consistent, but like it's so different as well, right?
Well, that's why I
Sorry,
caught up
before
on
we
that signature, because it feels like there's a signature there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that helps you avoid trying to figure out the coolest name for yourself or like the coolest name for your
Mm-hmm.
collection. And, and it takes away, it allows the person who's holding the piece of art to then say, whatever the story is, it's my art. But in fact, it's our art, right? It's not mine or yours, it's ours. Like it's a shared piece. I created it, but you own it, and because you own it, we can both tell the same story and have different like events within the same story, right? But it's the same. Does that make sense? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's essentially like the power of the art, and that's how you get people to forget this whole what utility are you offering. Like why would you ask an artist to work like a businessman? It's not like you ask a CEO, can you paint me a picture? Like here's Procreate, can you paint me
Yeah,
something?
it's like Andy Warhol is like, so why did you use all of those Campbell soup cans? Do you get to have the soup after you buy the picture? No, motherfucker. It's pop culture.
And we've been told this, right? Like to your point, like we've been witnessing artists challenge the traditions of what everyone expects. And I think this space is no different, that even if it's digital art, we can continue to challenge it. This whole space was innovated, the idea of smart contracts, like all of this was innovated so that the artist, maybe not directly influenced it, but definitely the artist has created a level of mastery that no one can take away from them. But it's up to them to go through that journey and understand who they are, like understand their nature before trying to compel others to understand it.
I like the idea that the signature of the artist is the brand, because it allows you to create an identity around something that's reality.
Yeah, exactly. So your story is for you and for others to hear, but they don't have to own the story to feel the art.
So if you were looking through those images on Mint Mocha, um, what's the initial feeling you get about the brand when you look at it?
So, I mean, I feel, hmm, I don't know whether I feel like I'm submerging or ascending. And what I mean by that is I don't know if I'm going into the depths with the style, right? Like going into the depths of the sea, almost figuratively speaking, or I'm ascending into the stars because I feel like this just reminds me of a lot of movies I've seen or interpretations of like what extraterrestrial life would look like or how we've represented it. But then at the same time, we still haven't explored the very bottom of the ocean. And when we look at the bottom, I remember seeing this octopus that was completely transparent and massive, and it was like discovered way below than we've gone, like how, further than we've gone to the depths of the ocean. So I wonder, like,
Well,
where it takes me
it's
almost.
interesting
That's how.
be- because the my wife has an octopus tattooed on her,
Oh,
right? And so when I think about, the brand, if the signature is the art, you know what I mean? Like it's easy.
yeah,
Brand is
I
such a
think.
weird thing. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I did go into storytelling mode, but
No, 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 no. You're
yeah,
right.
the octopus is definitely the masterpiece behind it, whether it's
Hmm.
in the foreground or background.
Right, but then you have this lemon, and I was like, "How did you get the lemon to look the same in all the pictures?" She's like, I ran out of, uh, I think there's 1,000 images a day, and she's gone through thousands upon thousands. But it was one of the first examples that I was able to see of, you have individual characters in AI art, but it's kind of hard to move them into different scenes,
Yeah,
right? When I realized, oh, she figured that out. I guess because she
And
knows photos.
and
Yeah.
and that's something actually I recently advised an artist to create this sort of transformational art where it's the same piece but then adding on layer on top of layer, but all AI generated. And it just made me wonder, like, I remember we had an entire week or 2 weeks worth in September possibly where everyone was complaining about Midjourney and Dali and how they're trying to replace our hard work. And it's like, hold on a second. Digital artists were spoken about the same way by traditional artists, and now we're like rinse and repeating the story in a different format. Why not try and master this or see if you could master it? And I think that's a great example of being able to take the same piece of art and almost translate it into a different image using AI art. That's very difficult. That requires quite a lot of like mastery in it, right?
You went through a lot of versions. Yeah. But that was the first thing I saw. I was like, I would often see a lot of individual characters that I loved, but I would never see that same character move through different scenes. And when she figured that out, I was like, oh, this really lends itself to a narrative. And she's been, to her credit, writing the narrative as she goes.
Well, my appreciation to her being able to do that, that is a talent of its own. I tried Midjourney. That was a bit complex. And the weird thing is I'm very articulate and I love words, but I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out how to do it properly. I created like I tried to type in a dog and it just gave me this weird thing that looked like a dog, but when you zoom in, it's almost like, what is this?
Man. Well, I know it's like almost 3 a.m. where you are. I appreciate the overtime.
No problem. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and look
We'll see
forward
you
to
soon.
more spaces. Definitely.
Yeah,
Take care,
absolutely.
everyone.
All love, eh?
See you later, Dan. See you later, Fitz.
You really lived up to the check mark, by the way.
Thank you. $8, baby. You know it. Making my money's worth.
Oh, man. Well, you're representing Mississauga and Browntown well.
Oh, thank you very much. And with that, have a good night.
Yeah. Guy went all the way from Canada to Poland for a girl. The girl, either he got rid of the girl or the girl left and he kept the Poland. Good for him. That's it's quite a pivot. I need another JSON file to try. JSON data set download. A curated list. Okay. Commerce Enterprise Data Inventory. Can I link to it? View it. Come on. I have to join. Now I need a username. You better not make me fucking create an API. I don't want a project. Data.json. Download. Okay, copy. Oh, fuck. You are good. This shit. Oops. Come on. Oh yeah. Toying with data. Data on the web is often stored in JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Since we're using Python, toying with data. Data on the web is often stored in JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Since we're using Python, we're going to use a library or software toolbox called pandas to take the data stored in a JSON file and output the data in a table so we can read it easily.
Sounds like a scheme. You're listening to DGen Conversations, spoken in a DGen way with DGen flair. The Indian food is pulling up right now, and I might have to break
Nice.
to get some Indian any moment.
Nice. What'd you get?
Well, I'm not usually. I always get the same thing. It's because I'm afraid of the Indian menu. I need to really go in with an expert and go through everything like in a buffet style or something. But I got the Mali Kafa, which is like a vegetarian thing with these vegetables. Really yummy. I love that. And then, let's see, Mary got the chicken makhani or something like that, which is good. And then I always get the chicken tikka appetizer, which is super yummy. And
Oh, you mean like the barbecue?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Gotta have some of that. And then we got some garlic naan,
Nice.
And yeah, hopefully this will make up for the meal of the day.
Did you get just the naan or did you get biryani?
No, I just got the naan. See, like I clearly have to learn from Indian from you.
Yeah, man.
Clearly, you know stuff to order.
Yeah. Next time, let me know. You can screenshot the thing.
You're
You're
right.
like,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
If
Yeah,
they have
I want
Nahari,
order
get
on
it.
DoorDash. I think that'd be a fun thing.
Yeah, if they have Nahari, get the Nahari. If they have the because there's a lot of like, how weird is your palate?
It can be kind of weird. There is like, okay, so the other day when we got
because there's spicy and then there's Indian weird. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I like that green stuff that you can sometimes get, which is almost
you
like
mean
a mint.
The mint chutney? Yeah.
Yeah, the mint chutney,
Yeah.
which is like an amazing thing to get. Yeah.
What about the raita? You know, the yogurt?
Yeah, that's done pretty good. And I did get some of the samosas because she likes like samosas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pretty good there. And I was really tempted. I wanted to go, all out on. I wanted to get the bullet naan, which was basically naan with like green chilies in it, and that sounded really good. But after a while, it starts getting up there, right? So I had to
The
pull
green
back.
chilies,
It's a
I
green
can
green
I,
chilies and a naan.
I can
Yeah.
eat hot food, but green chilies I have to get used to. It's a different heat.
Oh, that's tasty. Like hatch green chilies. Woo. There's some yumminess there. Last year, I bought a bunch of peppers from from where was that? El Paso. My brother, he would go down there. He was in Colorado, and he would go down to El Paso-ish sort of area and get these hatch chilies, and he would take them home. And there'd be like all these hatch chili festivals and stuff like that, where they take those chilies and they burn them in like a rotating drum, and they put fire on them. Oh my god, they're so good. So I tried to do that at home with less success. Obviously, Ohio, Midwest didn't have the burning drum, but I still kind of smoked them on the grill, which wasn't too bad. But yeah, man, that's some good flavor there. We got the Inky up. We got Melody in the house. We don't know if Melody's traveling or not. She could be in LA just for a few more days to wrap it up, meet a stranger before she descends onto the highway system.
Oh, definitely wrap it up before you meet the stranger, for sure.
Right, absolutely. All right, I'm gonna go check on this Indian, and I'll
Yeah.
check on you guys in a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's leaving one Indian to go attend to another. Well, we did our best not to talk about FTX, and even though we failed at that, I think we kept it pretty much contained.
Hola, hola. Fitz, are you there? How are you, Mike?
Hey,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I imagine Fitz is driving.
Oh, I can't hear you. I'm coming back.
Well, this is going to burn my face off, so I'm going to eat this and attempt to feel good.
How's it look? How's it smell?
Hola, hola. Kengo.
Spicy, fantastic. It all smells good. We all converged at the same time in the kitchen, like yes.
Okay, I need to go to the store. Is Fitz here? No, he left.
Dan, you're gonna try to. Oh, because you didn't get biryani. You just got naan. You ever worry about the naan running out though? You got enough?
I mean, I hear you about naan running out, but I always over order, man. So I'm trying to be. I'm trying to get to a clean bowl. You know, you know what I mean. I mean, it's already amazing to have the smalia kofta and the sauce and with rice. I mean, I could really eat that all day, I think.
The next time, let me know. I want to see what their appetizers are.
Yeah, you got it, man. Next time, it's
Yeah.
definitely going to be it's definitely a Michael order. We'll eat it Syndicate style.
Yeah, when you
Syndicate
get
style,
into some of
baby.
when you get into some of the exotic, weird appetizers, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I did notice that the appetizer menu went on forever,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of highlights what Indian priorities are. You know what I mean?
It's talking to Ali about this. It's like, when you're vegetarian and you have 5,000 years, you come up with a lot of ideas. You know what I mean? Right? So a lot of those curries are probably just like vegetarian curries that they added meat to.
Well, India was the spice capital of the world, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subcontinent.
Yeah. Empire's lost.
Well, I mean, like the ultimate empire is the caste system, right? People were like, "We need equality." It's like, motherfuckers, we create the caste system. We don't even have equality.
I was watching a fun YouTube series a couple days ago where it was like, how the British fucked this country, and it's like they kind of go through history and talk about the British. It's kind of a nice change because I'm so used to America fucking over everyone. It was nice to see somebody else being highlighted as the main fucker.
But now it's like, now you have an Indian guy in charge of the UK, so it's like everything comes around.
This whole meal is going to put me to sleep. I mean, it's going to be one. I'm going to sleep so well.
I time Ali actually. It's about an hour and 9 minutes between chicken and Ali falling asleep.
I love that.
So I look at her as she's eating and be like, "Hey, what time is it?" Oh, okay. You're just forcing yourself awake.
Why are you telling people my secrets?
That's your MO. Chicken, sleep. It's good. No, chicken, bed. Is it Nintendo DS?
Hey, stop telling people my secrets.
Gonna reveal all her secrets.
For a lot of people, Animal Crossing was their first kind of metaverse experience.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I like what that guy said about the brand being the signature of the artist. Usually the brand conversation is, what kind of brand will make people pay a premium? That's like the extent of the brand. That's a good idea, but will they pay 3 times as much as the commodity? I wonder if most fashion trends are tied to musicians.
All right. I'm unfortunately cycling out. I'm going to consume and attempt to eat slowly. I'll talk to you guys later.